Welcome back. Friday Arvo at the lab. Let's have a talk about what went wrong with this at round 1 NZ Superlap Series 22-23 season at Pukekohe. It'd be a very short video actually, because really nothing went wrong. The car was pretty good. Turned up there on the... You've seen the previous video. If you haven't seen it, I'll keep this real short. Turned up on the Saturday. Car was a little bit hairy for the first session. A couple of tweaks on it to try and make it better. Dropped the cylinder altogether. So coils decided that they'd had enough. And sorry, there's a clicking and clacking as a dog wandering around. What are you up to, Sammy? I have to start this again, aren't I? Hey, what do you guys want to see? There you go. Say hello to everyone. Hey. Coils. So, brought the car home, put the original factory coils in, and some fresh air plugs. They weren't brand new. Back. Car went good. And did the second to last session. Car went awesome. Set good times. The only thing that was... It's the dog. There's not dirty things happening. The only thing that was not ideal was the air intake temperatures on the engine, and I can show you what that was all about. In there is a roundy thing, makes lots of horsepower. They're horribly inefficient, these roundy things, these old school dino juice drinking things, something like 30-something%, something like that. So that means for every... Oh, here we go. People will argue about it, but for every 100 horsepower you're making, there's like 300 horsepower that's of no use, really, or 200. It's heat, it's noise, and that's about it, really. So you've got to get rid of all that heat, and that's fine. Our cooling system, we can't really see any of it here. There's a little hose down here that goes to the front of the car, the radiator, etc. That was fine. That was keeping the actual engine temperatures in check. The exhaust system would have been pretty much glowing red hot in parts, and there wasn't really a lot of airflow in here, to be honest. Despite having non-existent rear windows, basically. I mean, the rules say the windows have to be there. The rules do not say that they can't be seriously chopped, so they are. And we've got the knacker ducts on the side there. So despite having those, at the end of the session, if you open the boot, you put your hand in here and you grab hold of the roll bar, you're not going to be able to do that for very long before your hand is blistered. It gets very hot in there. So this has been a thing right from the get-go when the car was east-west, just rear-wheel drive. I've known about it. Wanted to do something about it for a long time. Couldn't decide exactly how it was going to go about, how it was going to get it resolved. I had made some ear boxes out of some paint cans, so brand new paint cans, not second handies, with this gold foil wrap around them, and had the ear filters inside there and had them tucked up on the sides. Now they worked really well, but they're quite cluttery. I didn't really like them all that much. They weren't very aesthetically pleasing. And, I mean, they didn't add a lot of weight, but I just didn't like them. So, I had taken those out and put the filters straight back on the front of our Turbotargers down there. You might be able to see it right in the middle of your screen. Can we zoom in? I think we can zoom in. Hang on. Oh, it's a bit... doesn't really want to. There's an air filter. You can see it. Is it going to go back to where it was? Yeah, there you go. So, there's one there, and the other one's down there. Tucked away, you can't even see that one. You can see something I'm going to talk about in a second. So, to make all the aero work well, it needs to be relatively well sealed. So the next change that I've done recently is I've sealed it all off a lot better underneath. Now our air filters are just sucking in hot air because there's not enough movement, flow, cooling going on there. So we're just sucking in hot air. So what comes out of the turbo there was very hot. It was maxing out the temp sensor pretty early on at 150 degrees C. intercooler was working pretty well until towards the end of the session, where we were seeing about 50 something, maybe even into the 60s degrees C into the engine, which is not good. It's not absolutely terrible, but it's not good. So you need better than that, and the best way to do better than that is to start off with colder air. So we come around to the side of the car here, and golly gosh, Glenn has hacked into the car and cut big holes in it and made some new vents. Now the original, if you don't remember, the original setup was basically, there was a small knacker duct on this panel in there. This fairing did not exist. So I've had a bit of a muck around. I've left the original guard. I was going to make a completely new guard. In fact, I did start on it, and I might as well show you. It's over here. It's been chopped up now, but I started forming the beginnings of that guard arrangement on the back. You can work out what was happening there. I'd yet to form the back edge there and get the little spoiler that we've put on the back of the guards, but this area at the front here was pretty much in the right shape. The actual wheel arch needed trimming, and then we had the big panel coming down here that was going to be chopped and changed and vents put in it and all that sort of stuff. The problem is that was going to take a significant amount of time to make two of those. I kind of got sick of it most of the way through the first one, said no, I'm not doing that. It's too hard. It's too hard. I can do that from lighter material, because that whole thing was 1.6mm thick material. This is 1.2 with fake carbon fibre wrap, and this is 1.2 with fake carbon fibre wrap. That is 1.6 because originally I was thinking about welding a proper vent into this, and 1.6 won't distort quite as badly as 1.2. 1.2 buckles and twists and it's very hard to work with to do a nice job. 1.6 is much easier. So after doing this side, just having raw aluminium panel there with no wrap and no hole or vent or anything like that, and I had this side over here. This side is actually still in raw aluminium because it's very much similar colour to the actual wrap on the car. I decided that rather than mucking around and doing vents, I was just going to chop big holes in them. So there you go, big hole. Go and get some mesh, put some mesh on there, put some wrap on it, the appropriate places. Looks alright. So that is a significantly larger vent than the original knacker ducts. Knacker ducts are very efficient. There's a good chance that'll flow by surface area more air than that. But we've got the advantage of having just a little bit more surface area. Right, like probably 20 times the amount of surface area. So now we'll get at least some more airflow coming through there, right? There's all sorts of funny things goes on with aero on the side of cars and that. We've got this big buffeting mess here that's going to push air out away from the side of the car and create a whole heap of turbulence and whatever. None of this has been CFD'd. Just using stubborn brute force. It's pointing towards the front of the car's going that way, there'll be some air going that way, guaranteed. So we'll get some through there. With all these holes up here, it's going to hopefully create some flow, and we'll keep the engine bay temps down, keep the air intake temps down, make more power, go faster, kick butt. So that's it. That's all we've done. Well, that's all I need to do at this point in time. I have not done a full inspection on the car to make sure everything else is all right. I did find a couple of bolts that were screws rather Just these things that hold panels on here. A couple of these were loose, but that was about the size of it. The car's very dirty. Other than that, she's good to go round 2, which is Taupo. I think it's the 8th and 9th of January, something like that. There you go. Beauty. Update all sorted, just like that. I'll push that back out of the way. I have a cold drink and I'll carry on with this low cost 7, which has had some good progress. We have a steering shaft now. We don't have a steering wheel. We've got the old wheel, but we don't have a new one to fit the new steering column. We've got a new steering column, by the way. And also we've changed the pedals. We talked about that. So that's coming along quite nicely. Alright, I'll update you on that one later on. Thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.